Did you know that breast cancer is expected to strike an estimated 270,000 women this year? But with early detection, more and more women are surviving the disease than ever before. I'm Lisa Aprati, anchor producer for the Comcast Network and Comcast Newsmakers on CNN Headline News. In honor of National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I would like to talk to you about the importance of early detection. I'm here to tell you a story about a woman who was healthy, exercised on a regular basis, never smoked, and was considered too young to be at risk for breast cancer. I'm here to tell you my story. I was diagnosed with breast cancer on January 28th of this year at the age of 35. Through a self-examination, which I had performed once every 2 weeks since I was 20 years old, I discovered a lump in my left breast. In the next hour, you will see firsthand my experiences going through 2 surgeries, 4.5 months of chemotherapy, and 2 months of radiation. You will also see a unique relationship between 2 organizations helping to navigate patients and caregivers through their cancer journeys. In partnership with the Lynn Sage Comprehensive Breast Center at Northwestern Memorial Hospital and the American Cancer Society, you will have an opportunity to find out how to locate information once diagnosed, ways to adapt to physical changes, and how a positive mental attitude and support from family and friends help in the recovery process. Here is my story, Anchor of Hope.
I could tell she was upset. She had told me she had found a lump.
I had the fear of, oh my God, I could lose my life.
Radiation plays a prominent role in the treatment of breast cancer.
You hear a lot about breast cancer, but you never think it's going to be truly within your immediate family.
I think that it's very important for women to be proactive.
If you have a positive outlook, and that affects your treatment.
Our goal is for her to be cured, to never have this come back again.
You got to get through it no matter what.
Junior high, high school, Lisa was big on sports, involved with volleyball, softball. Pretty much if there was a spotlight, Lisa was on it.
One of her teachers was involved with having a weather station on the top of the school, and he would report it in the weather to a local radio station. So that was Lisa in 6th grade was on air on the radio giving the 12:20 weather report from Glenwood, Illinois. She has always liked the limelight, always ran for political office in school, in high school, plus majored in media communications. Went to Aurora University where they have a TV studio, and so she was very involved with that.
Lisa is the alderman for Ward 5 in the city of Chicago Heights. She sits on the city council, attends the city council meetings. She's responsible for all of the operations in Ward 5. She also serves as the Bloom Township clerk. As clerk, she's the official statutory record keeper for the township. They provide a multitude of services for the township. The township is much broader than the city as alderman. The township takes in 12 communities, population of roughly 110,000 people.
It was late at night on Thursday, January 20th, when I made a discovery that would change my life forever. I was performing a self-exam when I felt a bottle cap-sized lump in my left breast. As soon as I felt the lump, I had a bad feeling about it. The next morning, I immediately made an appointment to meet with my gynecologist. My next phone call was made to my mother.
I could tell she was upset, and she had told me she had found a lump, and so of course my mind was racing like, okay, now what do you do with this? You have to get to a doctor. She had already made an appointment for 2 days later.
Lisa came to me in January or February of this year, and she had noticed a lump in her left breast about 2 weeks before seeing me. This was a new lump, and she talked to her gynecologist about it, and her gynecologist appropriately ordered a mammogram and an ultrasound.
You hear a lot about breast cancer, and pretty much you're going to know somebody that has it, but you never think it's going to be truly within your immediate family, and not at our age that we're at. I mean, I'm 35, and cancer just before Lisa told me, wasn't even an issue.
This film on our far left, this is her mammogram. This marker, this is a little BB that's placed on the skin as a marker for the radiologist. And you can see underneath the marker there's a faint area that's a little bit whiter than the surrounding tissue. This is the tumor right here with the marker overlying it. You can see how difficult it is to pick up this tumor from the background. That's why we don't get mammograms on young women, because the breast tissue is so dense. In any tumor which is white, you have white on a white background and it doesn't show up very well. As one gets older, the breast tissue becomes more fatty replaced, and then you have white on a dark background, and it's much easier to see lesions as the patient gets older. This is what the ultrasound showed the tumor to look like. You can see it shows up much more easily on the ultrasound than it did on her mammogram. This dark area is the tumor, and they put some measuring icons on here to measure it, and it measures 2.6 centimeters in diameter.
The doctor who came to look at the results told her it was highly suspicious, and she did suspect cancer. And then that afternoon she had a biopsy.
And this is a view of the core biopsy being done. Once again, this is the outline of the tumor. This white line, this is the needle. This needle took out several little slices of tissue, and that was sent to the pathologist, and that's what told us that this was an invasive cancer.
She was diagnosed with breast cancer at a young age. It's rare for somebody to get that at that age. It was her diligence of making sure that she was doing self-breast exams, going to her doctor when she felt something suspicious, having her doctor explain to her that you need to have not only a mammogram but an ultrasound, and how important that was for her to be a self-advocator for herself when she went to the Lynn Sage Breast Center.
I just remember thinking, I can't believe it. I felt like I kept reassuring her, I'm sure it's fine, I'm sure it's fine. And when it wasn't, I just felt helpless. I felt like I didn't know what to say. I didn't know, how to comfort her.
What can we do? We have to start doing something. So she made an appointment, many appointments, surgeons, oncologists, radiologists, and plastic surgeon. And just her doctor, Dr. Bethke, had wanted her to, the surgeon, had wanted her to see all the doctors and weigh all the options.
In oncology circles, there's 3 different oncologists. There's a surgical oncologist. We're generally responsible for making the diagnosis of a lot of cancers and for doing the surgery, of course. And then there's a medical oncologist. They're responsible for giving the chemotherapy and perhaps endocrine therapy or biological therapy. And then there's the radiation oncologist. They're responsible for giving the radiation. So she saw me first because I'm the one usually in charge of making the diagnosis and then developing an initial surgical plan.
My worst fears were confirmed. I had breast cancer. Now what do I do? Well, I began to put a plan together. I spoke with numerous doctors, began extensive research, and started making decisions I never dreamed I would ever have to make.
Because of her lesion being about 3 centimeters in size, she was considered somewhat of a borderline candidate for lumpectomy. This means that if we had removed the lump, there might have been at least there was a possibility of a significant cosmetic problem in the area. So we talked about 3 different options. One option would be to go ahead and do the lumpectomy and hopefully have a good result at the end. That would be acceptable to all. The other one would be to give chemotherapy first. This is called neoadjuvant chemotherapy or preoperative chemotherapy. This is given in an attempt to shrink the tumor, to make it smaller, so that when we do the lumpectomy, we're able to take out less tissue and therefore have a better cosmetic result. There's a third option that we also discussed, and that was doing a lumpectomy as it was at this point, and then possibly doing a partial reconstruction of the breast. This would require removing muscle from the back. It's called the latissimus dorsi muscle from the back, and then swinging it forward and filling up the hole that's created by a relatively large lumpectomy.
I wasn't really worried about the surgery because I had a lot of confidence in Dr. Bethke. My main concern was, what if the cancer had spread to my lymph nodes?
The lymph nodes are tiny little glands which are underneath the arm, in the armpit area. And we know that tumor can spread to lymph nodes, and that's a relatively bad prognostic sign. Utilizing a blue dye and a radioactive dye, we harvest the lymph nodes underneath the arm, and it's usually 1 to 3 lymph nodes. And then the pathologist evaluates them immediately for us. If the nodes are positive, then we go ahead and do a more formal dissection procedure called an axillary dissection, where we generally take somewhere between 10 and 20 lymph nodes out total, and she had a total of 17.
Out of the 17 lymph nodes Dr. Bethke removed, 3 of them were positive.
Then we found out it was in the lymph nodes, for 3 lymph nodes. That kind of concerned us more. And now we know that it was real and chemo was involved in radiation and so forth.
There's stages 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the typical invasive cancer, and 1 being the earliest stage and 4 meaning metastatic disease. Stage 1 are tumors that are less than 2 centimeters in size, and the lymph nodes are negative. Stage 2, the size of the tumor is 2 to 5 centimeters in size, and they may have or may not have positive lymph nodes. Stage 3 is a more advanced cancer where they either have more than 3 lymph nodes positive, or they have tumor involving the chest wall, and that would sometimes be called inflammatory breast cancer, which is a more aggressive type of breast cancer. And then stage 4 is when the tumor has metastasized to other organs such as the bone, the lung, the brain, the liver. I did the lumpectomy. That specimen is sent to pathology for multiple tests, and they also measure it, and that gives us the official measurement. And her tumor was more than 2 centimeters in size, so she's considered a stage T2, T meaning size, and 2 meaning between 2 and 5 centimeters in size. And then her lymph node status was she had 3 positive lymph nodes, so that's considered N1, the N standing for nodes. So in the official staging criteria that's used around the world, she's a stage T2, N1, or overall a stage 2B.
Recently they were talking about French fries for little children that could eventually cause breast cancer as in young ladies. And those used to be treats. Take them out for a McDonald's with a hamburger and French fries and so forth. So you start thinking, did we have anything to do with bringing this on?
Studies have shown that if you just do a lumpectomy and no radiation, the risk of it coming back in the left breast for Lisa would be about 30%. But with radiation, that drops down to about 6%. But in order to reach that 6%, you have to have clear margins to begin with. That means that when I do the lumpectomy, I need normal tissue all the way around the tumor. And if I don't have normal tissue all the way around it, we need to go back in a week or 2 and shave a little bit more tissue off in order to clear the margins. Well, that was Lisa's case. She did have some residual microscopic tumor at one of the margins, and we went back approximately, I believe about 2 weeks later, and took a little bit more tissue. We were able to clear the margins at that time, and she didn't require a mastectomy.
So today will begin this part of not knowing what's going to happen. I'll know in the next few hours.
In just 3 short months, I had discovered the lump, gone through 2 surgeries to remove the tumor, and now I was facing chemotherapy. The goal of chemotherapy is to kill any malignant cells that remained in my body after the surgery. I knew this part was going to be rough, but I tried to remain positive.
I just didn't understand why it happened. I felt like life's not fair. It shouldn't happen to someone that's younger and someone who's so involved and is so healthy. So it was really rough, and you want to be that support person, but on the other hand, it's like, I don't know what to do.
In the United States, it's pretty much standard for patients with positive lymph nodes to receive a type of drug called an anthracycline and a type of drug called a taxane. And we discussed the options that were available to her in combining those drugs. For example, we talked about a regimen in which she would take 4 doses of adriamycin and Cytoxan and then take 4 doses of Taxol. And we talked about a regimen which she ultimately ended up taking, which is to take 6 doses of Taxotere, adriamycin, and Cytoxan altogether. Generally, we give a little more chemotherapy to women who have positive lymph nodes than we do to women who have negative lymph nodes. And specifically, we generally offer a taxane, whether it be Taxol or Taxotere, to women with positive lymph nodes, where we may not be as likely to offer that to a woman who has negative lymph nodes.
Actually, she gets 3 types of chemotherapy. So the first one is what we call a push or IV push. I actually push that drug in myself through the IV. The second one is a drip, and the third one is a drip. So both of those last. So the first drip is like a 30-minute drip. The last one is an hour drip.
Well, I'm here at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, and today is my first day of treatment. So I'm actually looking forward to it because there's been a lot of anxiety, as you can imagine, around this. And I just want to get this started so I can be finished with it very, very soon. I'll be going through 4 months of chemo with 6 treatments, and it'll be 1 treatment every 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So this one is the...
that's nothing but saline.
Okay.
We're going to just give you some extra fluids, hydrate you well. So I'll give you pretty much almost a whole bag.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to just get your IV going so we get the ball rolling here.
Sure. So is it about a 2.5 hour process or closer to 3?
It's probably going to be maybe close to 3 hours just because I'm giving you extra fluid.
Sure.
Okay. So a couple of things just to remind you of is that so we know this regimen that you're on definitely affects the GI system. So without all this anti-nausea medication that we'll give you beforehand and the ones that you'll be taking at home, if you didn't have those, we know for a fact you would definitely get sick.
Okay.
Okay, because it affects the GI system. And it takes your body about 2 days, 48 hours to rid of the chemo out of your system. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Now, do you notice, and I realize everybody's different, but do you notice that when people get the Taxotere, I guess maybe for the first time, that they're sick either the second or third day or possibly a week later? I mean, is it, you said it takes 2 days before the chemo to pretty much get out of your system to begin with.
And I don't like to say, well, you're going to get sick on this day, because what we're trying to do is prevent you from getting sick.
Sure.
But if you were to get sick, it probably wouldn't be from the Taxotere. It would probably be from the adriamycin Cytoxan combination. The Taxotere really doesn't affect the GI, so the patients that get Taxotere by itself, we don't even give anti-nausea medications to.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's not going to cause you to get sick.
I
the
see.
Taxotere, it would be the adriamycin or the Cytoxan.
Okay.
If you got sick, it would be coming from those two.
Okay.
Okay. So I tend to just say, you know, we just have to watch you and see how you do with this first one.
But generally, people normally do get some type of. Or could I possibly luck out?
I mean, I have patients who. And I'll be calling you tomorrow anyway, just to see how you do. But I have patients, oh, I'm fine, no nausea, no vomiting.
That's why it's my way of telling myself, I have to say it out loud and in the mirror on a regular basis, everything is going to be good. It's going to be good. But yes, I've had my moments in the past couple days where it's like, oh my goodness, it's finally going to start. But in the long run, it's for the best. It's just scary. So today will begin this part of not knowing what's going to happen. I'll know in the next few hours. Now is this the one that could possibly sting when it goes in?
This should not.
Should not.
Definitely no stinging, burning, or pain.
Okay.
And you might feel just coolness just because I'm pushing it. So sometimes
The pressure of it.
You feel it just a little bit more just because I'm pushing it.
And that's all it is the pressure. That's all I feel.
Okay.
It's just a little uncomfortable, really. That's all it is.
It's so important that we have a good vein and we see a blood return like that. If this medication was to drip outside the vein, it'll do significant damage to the surrounding tissues.
Okay.
Significant enough where you can need surgery to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And that's the
One down.
One down. Not too bad, huh?
No.
Right. So now I'm gonna still run your fluid.
Okay.
But then we'll run cytoxin at the same time.
Okay.
Okay. So they're both going, and let it go for 30 minutes, and then we'll hang the Taxotere.
Now, because it had spread to the lymph nodes, there's always a possibility that the cancer can spread elsewhere too. And that is the reason why Dr. Cianfrocca had said that she wanted to go really aggressive with me because not only because the cancer had spread to the lymph nodes, but because of the fact that I was 35 years old at the time. And being that young to have breast cancer is very unusual, it's very rare.
And one of the main things we talked about was the risk for menopause because she is young and that is an issue for younger women going into premature menopause as a result of the chemotherapy, and then the influence that has on issues of fertility and childbearing later on in life.
If by chance I was going to go into thank you, menopause permanently, obviously it would be the chance of never having children. But because I'm so young and there's not a lot of research done for women my age, there's always a chance that I won't go into a permanent menopause. So here I am. I did a lot of research. My mom did a lot of research on this. And basically, you can only do what you feel is right. And at this point, I felt like, let's get through this. Let's get rid of the cancer altogether so it never comes back again. And take one step at a time. My one step at a time is to get through this and then find out after it what my options are. I will be put on tamoxifen, which is a drug that I'll be on for about 5 years as soon as my chemo is finished.
And so in Lisa's case, we're giving her chemotherapy and then we're giving her another type of therapy called endocrine therapy, which is what tamoxifen is, afterwards to try to reduce her risk of having the cancer come back to as low as we possibly can.
Okay, so this is the last chemo drug that I will be getting, which is Taxotere.
Okay, so I'm starting it off slow.
It's creeping.
Yeah, it's creeping.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Family? Yep. I have a husband and 3 children.
That's great.
That's impressive.
Thank you. I have to admit, for my first treatment, it's nice to have it over. The anxiety, I'm finished with the anxiety for the time being because the treatment was perfect. Karen did a fantastic job. She made it nice and easy and relaxing. And now it's just dealing with my medications in the next 2, 3, 4 days. And we'll be back again for the second treatment in 3 weeks. So for the first one, thumbs up. It was very good. I got through it, and so can anyone else. Sometimes you just wish, let's just get this over with now. If the change was to happen, let's just do it now. But I'm just keep looking at my hair going, oh, it looks nice now, but wait. Now that I had received my first dose of chemotherapy, the question of side effects was weighing heavily on my mind. Even before I started treatment, I made preparations. Knowing that hair loss was a big part of the side effects, I saw a specialist that was referred to me by my brother to discuss my options.
I know that she's in the spotlight and she's in front of the cameras, and I knew that that was going to play a major role for her in terms of the effects that the treatments would have on her.
I'm a volunteer in the boutique at Alexian Brothers Hospital up in Elk Grove Village, and that's where I met Lisa, and she came to talk with me and to discuss the whole process. 14 days after the first chemo, Lisa's dealing with breast cancer. She'll experience the beginning of a shedding process that takes several days. A lot of women don't understand that, and it's important to know that they have a little time to plan and to think. So I was able to do that with Lisa. Some women don't want to get much past the 14th or 15th day with this shedding mess. They want to come in, take the clippers, get it over with, because they don't want to watch it fall out.
Okay.
That's depressing in itself.
True.
So they would rather be in control and clip it off on their own. Some women need to see it to believe it. They need to emotionally take a step at a time. All right, now I know what they're talking about. And the next day, oh my gosh. And the third day, you're sick of it. So that your feelings say, cut it off, I'm tired of it.
Okay.
That may be where you'll be about Monday.
Okay.
So as you journey through these next couple weeks, think about how you're feeling, what your personality brings to the party with that.
Right.
You know, do you want to be in control or see it to believe it?
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. I have no idea yet.
I know you don't, so you'll know,
Okay.
and then I'll help you. All right.
Do I hold it here?
Yeah, right there, from the front to the back.
Okay.
And that's not bad considering you still have all your hair.
Right. When you think about the fact that you have cancer and you have to go through the chemo because that's the only way that you can get rid of it, and they tell you, well, you know, the side effect is going to be you're going to lose all your hair, it's traumatic. I mean, because especially for women, you know, I don't care how short your hair is to begin with. The fact is you're going to look in the mirror at some point and you're going to be bald.
The hair loss doesn't have to be the worst part that happened if they've got good supportive help along that
Exactly.
path. And that's people, not just me, but people that do what I do, that's the key that we represent to those people.
Right, absolutely. Just knowing that first week of May I'm going to see some changes is, you know, sometimes you just wish, let's just get this over with now. If the change was to happen, let's just do it now. But I'm just keep looking at my hair going, oh, it looks nice now, but wait.
Lisa wasn't really sure what was down the road. She did realize she was going to lose her hair. Lisa was hoping she was one of the small percentage who wouldn't, but that didn't end up being.
Well, you're seeing it falling out, but it's not ready to all fall out today, because as I pull this, you still feel me pull.
Yeah, I do.
That's very attached. If we shave it, you'll never know. And if we don't shave it, then you just have to deal with the mess of it coming out.
Right.
Let's leave that whole issue alone right now. All right, from the front to the back. You're in a precarious situation today with the hair loss. Here's where you have to decide, am I going to wear it or not? Is today the right day or not?
I can't go to work like that. I mean, not that anybody would care, but I think I am supposed to be on camera at least one time next week.
And you know what? Is it going to be a little different than your hair? Maybe. Yes. Just for the very nature it's not your head of hair. Are you going to look good in it? Absolutely. That's what we're here to do. You're the boss. You tell me where we're going from here.
Yeah, it does look really similar, so I think I better just do it. It's too much to handle seeing it fall out, so. Ah! I think I just want to get rid of the hair today.
Should I give you a second chance to think about it, or just go for it?
I don't know if I could do 2 more days.
Of it falling?
It's hard to.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it has to be done, and that's fine.
Do we want to keep the ponytail? Do you want to do it in the ponytail and keep it?
What do you
No, throw it out.
Bad hair. When you get a home, you have to be on this one.
That looks so much better.
I know it does. It's a healthier head of hair than mine.
I can't imagine having 2 kids or a kid right now and trying to take care of them.
Can you imagine young moms with newborn babies or pregnant
No.
moms dealing with this? And I'm not making light of your situation.
No,
but,
I know,
you
I know.
Wow. Wow.
You okay? Okay.
Wow.
You know what? It's over now. We're going forward. I'm going to help you do that.
Wow, that feels weird.
Looks
You
nice.
feel a little better now? We're a little...
I do.
We got
I
part
do.
of, okay, now
I'm just glad it's.
there are some women who would say, I'm not going to do chemotherapy because I'm going to lose my hair. That's an unfortunate situation. But someone who's made the choice to do the chemotherapy, they're concerned about their looks, but they're going to take a step forward. And I'm glad they're concerned, and I'm here to help them do that.
Besides the loss of my hair, there were other side effects. Because every person reacts differently to the chemotherapy, I was really concerned about the side effects that I might experience. I had 5 treatments to go, and all I could do was deal with each side effect as it came up.
The chemo sessions were extremely rough. We kept thinking maybe your body gets used to it, maybe you'll get better. That didn't happen. They were rough.
Lisa actually have had some difficult times with the treatment. She's had quite a bit of nausea and vomiting. So we had to do a lot of changing or adding different medication to help to make her as comfortable as possible.
It's May 12th, and this is my second chemo treatment. And they had a little bit, the nurses had a little bit of a hard time trying to get the IV in me because my couple of the veins that they were used initially were collapsing once they put the needle in and started putting the saline solution in. So they had to bring in another nurse, and she got it to work, which I'm very grateful for because I do have 4 more treatments to go, and I want to make sure that my veins are holding up because I would prefer to do everything in my arm and not have to have the mini surgery to put the port in, probably around my chest or my arm.
She's had a tough case in the respect that she's had, I think, every side effect possible that anyone can have.
I was pretty much out of commission for a good 5 to 6 days. Where it was to the point where I didn't go out of the house. I really couldn't leave because I was tired, and it was so painful that you just truly don't care about anything. You just want to relax and sleep.
The only downtimes were after the chemotherapies. That when it was kind of tough and at least really rough on me because you saw a different person. It was a different Lisa. She was down, she tired, in pain. You felt sorry for her when you tried to comfort her and so forth as much as you could.
Well, it's June 2nd, and it is my 3rd chemo treatment. So the way I'm looking at it is I'm going through the treatment right now, so it's almost over, which means I'm at the halfway point, and there's only 3 more left to go. We are kind of did a little bit more talking about this 3rd treatment because the 2nd treatment I had of chemo I did not react very well to by any means. In all honesty, it was a pretty horrible experience the 2nd time around, just because from that Thursday when I got the treatment, leaving nauseated, having the nausea stay for a good 4 days, and then starting the Percocet for the bone pain, I literally did not leave my room, my bedroom, for a good 7 to 8 days.
Each chemo treatment was different for Lisa, it seemed. There were a lot of similarities in symptoms, but every time Lisa would get one symptom under control, another symptom would pop up.
Well, it's my 4th treatment, which I'm thrilled about because I only have 2 more to go. Overall, we're just kind of playing it by ear, hoping that this next cycle won't be as bad as the first 3 cycles. And you know, that it's going to work so that you know, none of this ever comes back again.
A big part of her recovery would be getting her back into her routine. Anytime someone's down with an illness of any sort, the last thing you want that person to do is just lay around and think about, you know, what's happening to them.
She would get back on her feet as soon as she could. She gets back to the council meeting as soon as she can. She's returning her calls to her constituents. She's reporting back to work on a, you know, fairly regular basis.
Although I did experience a variety of side effects, after 10 days I was able to get back to my daily routine. I went back to work after each treatment. Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa Aprati and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Played with my niece Skylar as much as I could.
Whoa, hold on, Missy!
And I was able to participate in my city's 4th of July parade that I've never missed in 10 years. During chemotherapy, some of the expected side effects may include fatigue, hair loss, appetite changes, nausea, irregular digestion, low blood cell counts, skin changes, and menopausal-like symptoms. Unfortunately, in my case, I had all of the above and then some. But all patients react differently to their specific chemo treatment. I was just happy that I only had 2 more to go. Hello, I'm Lisa Aprati checking in for chemo.
You got your blood work done, saw the doctor?
Yes, yes I did. Great, thank you.
Do you feel more nauseated knowing that you're getting your chemo today?
Yes.
Yeah, so
The day of, yes.
Yes, that's anticipatory nausea.
Yeah, no, it
That's
stinks.
Yeah, it does stink. But Ativan actually works pretty well for that, so I'll make sure you get some Ativan.
Okay.
And if we'll see what you got and we'll add to it.
Is it hurting?
A little bit.
Thank you. All of that probably just stinks. Just stinks.
With all of Lisa's side effects and the symptoms afterwards, it was very overwhelming and frustrating and frightening.
Well, this is my last treatment and I am thrilled out of my mind. I'm a little groggy right now because they've given me all kinds of stuff in my IV. I'm just grateful that this is the last one and hopefully, you know, my radiation when that starts, that won't be as bad as the side effects have been with the chemo. Big finale. Drum roll.
It made me realize all of these other people who go through illnesses and they don't complain, and people outside their inner circle don't really hear too much about them. And it made me appreciate everything that these people have gone through. They're really like soldiers.
That light at the end of the tunnel is getting a little bit brighter, and I can't wait till this is all over. At this point, I had made it through 4.5 months of chemotherapy, and now the next step was to start my radiation treatments.
The chemo was so devastating, I think the radiation almost appears as a light at the end of the tunnel for her. So I think she's gotten more upbeat and she can see success coming, and it just gives her more drive to complete the process and move on.
I'm a radiation oncologist, which means I give radiation for cancer. And for breast cancer, often, as with Ms. Aprati, we're often combining surgery with radiation and chemotherapy. So my role is to consult on her case, give recommendations, and specifically deliver the radiation. We'll do a planning session where we map out where we're going to treat. That involves taking some x-rays, actually doing a CAT scan in our department, a computer tomography scan in our department. And then behind the scenes, myself and our physics staff will design the radiation fields to encompass the areas we think that are at risk for the disease coming back that haven't been appropriately sterilized by the surgery or the chemotherapy. And generally we make those marks at the time of the planning process where we get a computer tomography, and then we put usually a couple tiny tattoos on, which just pinpoint dots. And we use those tattoos along with lasers to line her up on each day.
September 8th is when I started my treatments for radiation, and basically Dr. Small had said that I would have 33 treatments, which comes out to about 6.5 weeks. And that's coming to the lower concourse of the Galter building here at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, 5 days a week for the 6.5 weeks, and it's taking the weekends off. And my schedule normally is I come in the morning and I check in, and within 5 minutes a nurse comes to get me, and I come in and I change, and I come straight into this room here, and I lay down on this table, and the nurses position me 3 different ways for the 3 different areas that they're going to hit on my left breast.
What happens is the radiation comes out in a square, and so what we do is we form this block from the x-rays from the CAT scan to shape it to the shape of your breast and to the area that we're treating. So so this blocks out any of the tissue we don't want treated.
Okay.
And each angle has its own individual, and each patient has their own individual blocks.
During the radiation treatment, nurses would set me up on the table and calibrate the machine. Then they would leave and initiate the radiation from another room.
This is what we call the control room, and specifically each patient, we bring them up on the computer. This computer right here will show us what the parameters need to be in order for us to treat. And this is controls the machine itself and shows us what the parameters are in the machine. This is right here is our main control panel. The green button is to beam on. That turns the radiation on. If for some reason the patient coughed or moved, we would push an interrupt button, or if we needed to terminate completely, we would push the red button, and that would shut the machine down.
First 2 angles are actually treating your breast, and the last angle is treating an area of lymph nodes that we also want to include in the course of your treatment for preventative purposes.
To be honest with you, radiation is nowhere near anything like the chemotherapy is.
The most common side effects of treatment for breast cancer is skin irritation. So like getting a sunburn, and she'll feel soreness and skin soreness, and we have radiation nurses that will help. We'll use skin creams and different things to try to minimize the discomfort. The whole course of therapy tends to run a fairly long time. My therapy, from planning to initiation of treatment to completion of therapy, can last about 8 weeks, given the fact it takes us a week or so to get things ready after we do the planning. So it tends to run closer to a year than to a half a year.
Getting close to the end, the radiation is the last part of this treatment with the breast cancer, other than being put on tamoxifen for the next 5 years. But that light at the end of the tunnel is getting a little bit brighter, and I can't wait till this is all over. The American Cancer Society was instrumental in providing information to help me learn more about my diagnosis. ACS offers great programs such as the Patient Navigation System on their website.
The patient navigation system was developed to bring services directly to the patients. We try to link them up with whatever services the American Cancer Society has, also linking them up with whatever the community might have. So if it's support groups that the American Cancer Society doesn't offer, we would link them up with support groups in their area. Financial resources, if that's a problem, if they need rent assistance or assistance getting something paid for, trying to find out if there's, low cost or no cost mammograms in their area.
Another wonderful program I took advantage of is Look Good, Feel Better.
Look Good, Feel Better is our program that we have. It's probably my favorite program. It's for all women with cancer, and it's a makeover session with a licensed cosmetologist.
When they come here, they're often a little nervous and not sure, or they say, I've never worn makeup before.
The woman will get a box of makeup and then go through a group session where they're actually made over. So from top to bottom, the cosmetologist really goes through and tries to make sure that everyone knows how to use all of the supplies that are in the box.
Once we start going through the steps and they see all the makeup, and I also emphasize eyelashes and eyebrows, and that's something they all want information about, how to fill in their eyebrows, ways to make it look natural, how to put on eyelashes. Basically, they just want to know how to take care of their skin, how to look as normal as possible.
Each cosmetologist has been trained on how to deal with issues with cancer treatments, so chemotherapy or radiation, and what that does to the skin, to teach the women how to deal with those issues. When I first met Lisa, and she was already diagnosed with her breast cancer and actually beginning her chemotherapy, we talked about what other services are available out there for her. We linked her up with a Reach to Recovery volunteer who is a breast cancer patient who has been through her treatment and has been trained to be available to newly diagnosed patients.
There were a lot of positive things that happened throughout my treatment. One of them was talking to breast cancer survivors like Stacy Peters, my longtime friend Judy Prisco, and Dr. Sandy Goldberg. They spent a lot of time with me, making sure I remained positive and hopeful, and they provided me with very insightful information about their experiences. In the ongoing fight against breast cancer, ACS relies heavily on support from state legislators.
The state of Illinois just created the Ticket for the Cure, which will begin sales January 1st of 2006, and proceeds from the ticket, from that lottery ticket, will be given towards breast cancer research.
For the first time ever, no state in the nation has ever done it before, but when I sign this bill, Illinois will become the first state in the nation that will allow for a specific lottery game. And if you buy a ticket, this kind of ticket in this lottery game, what you'll get is all the money going directly towards early detection screenings for breast cancer.
I run into so many women I knew, young women, older women, who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And in my opinion, it had become what you call epidemic in the minority community, blacks and Hispanic, and all dealt with having access to health care.
All right, here we go. Today's the 6th.
This legislation would bring more into the fold. It'll raise a lot of revenue, but it's on the awareness side, which is so critical, so that women can get in early and get tested, and it can be cured if you get in early.
You do feel like, what happened? What went wrong? And really, there's no answer. There's no answer what went wrong. Life happens, and it happens to a lot of people, and you just have to deal with it the best way you can. There are a lot of agencies and hospitals and resources out there to help you through it.
Patients are usually the ones that will find the lump or something that is irregular in their own breast, so it's really important for them to know their body.
Without a strong family history, there was really no reason for Lisa to start screening earlier.
It's such a silent disease to start with that by the time you realize you have it, it's anywhere from 2 to 3 years that it's been developing.
If there's one message we have to pass down, it's simply this. You have an obligation as a human being to leave this world in better shape than you find it. And Lisa has understood that from the very beginning.
We always say at New Year's time, I wish a year full of health. That is so important, and it's just not empty words. It means everything. It really does mean everything.
Through this experience, I have learned to take things one day at a time. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer in January, I felt compelled to document my treatment to show the importance of early detection and self-awareness. If breast cancer could happen to a healthy, seemingly risk-free young woman, then obviously it could strike any woman without warning. We need to be proactive with our health and the health of our mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, nieces, and friends. We need to perform monthly self-exams, be checked on a regular basis by our gynecologist, and have a heightened sense of awareness about our health. It amazes me that an estimated 80% of women diagnosed with breast cancer have no family history. We all know someone who has breast cancer. Let's do our best to be advocates on promoting the importance of early detection. It's one of the most important things we can do. If I hadn't performed a self-exam, I might not be telling you my story today. This documentary is dedicated to all of the women who have gone through this battle and survived to tell their story. And it pays special tribute to all the courageous women who fought hard and are no longer with us. Thank you for being part of this story.